Flat Drop 101. Hey man, we just popping off. They just tuning in. You know we back in our favorite book, man. Worlds Beyond the Poles, popping off. Doing it for the tribe. Hey, hop to the Shabbat. You know, with us is a vibration. You know, some folks might need, more things to lead them. That just means you ain't tapped in, deep enough. Don't pop off and think you're all the way tapped in. Don't assume these type of things. Continue to tap in so you can feel the vibration. You won't need something external to guide you and lead you and to, do all these things, man. You can pop off for yourself. If someone is always pulling you through the door, when are you going to walk through the door? You might not need someone to pull you through the door like you think you do. This is your time to shine, Managa. This is your time to pop off. I don't want to cheat you of none of that. I want to see you pop off. HaWah wants to see you pop off. Pull yourself up. Keep going, no matter what it is. We all been there, man, through, extensive circumstances, man, where we just had to keep going. This is that time. This is what you train for. Hey, man, we just popping off, man. Flat Drop 101, man. Hey, it's time to get oriented. Let's go. Hey, hop to HaWah, ThaWaDa. She just had a great show in the ether in battle time. Season 4 episode, was it 35? HaWah is popping off. My knockers is all popping off. Hey, shout out to the Ether Squad. And, as we get this new website going, we'll be able to, get all the Ether shows. I know it's hard to catch them all. I know sometimes, we truly are surfing the wave on the time. We got things flowing, but, again, the formula, the structure is what got us here. The code is our structure. Beyond that, you're surfing the wave. Everything doesn't have to be extra structured for you. You know what I'm saying? You can see for yourself. You can flow for yourself. You can know for yourself. You don't need a title. You don't need someone to have a title for you. You don't need, someone to, have the exact time of this and this. Like, Managa, you can just flow. You can flow like you've been flowing. You don't have to be controlled in these ways. You can flow. You know what I mean? Once you KTC, you in control. Now it's time to surf the wave. Surfing the wave. So, the control is for the cons. You know what I mean? If you confused right now, my nugget, you might just need to tap in a little further. It's okay. You know what I mean? We all here for each other. You know what I mean? We doing each other a solid. Every time we get ourselves up, every time we put our shoes on, and walk in our shoes, my nugget, and go after our goals, we're doing it for the whole tribe. You know what I mean? So everyone needs to push themselves. You know what I mean? Everyone needs to walk themselves. Yeah, we together. Yeah, we got each other's back. But it's time for you to tribe up with you. If you can't tribe up with yourself, don't try to tribe up and lean on someone else, my nigga. This ain't the time to lean on me. Nah. This is time for you to tribe up with you, to face whatever you got to face, to see whatever's down there in that rabbit hole, my nigga. And KTC it all the way up, crystallize it all the way back up, from the root all the way to the crown and beyond, my nigga. We spiraling up. I want to see my niggas spiral up. I'm falling back. I'm a witness. I'm a witness to see you pop off, man. HaWah, HaWah, hey, that's our savior. That's our only savior. HaWah is our only game plan. HaWah is our only gang. It's our only tribe. HaWah is our breath, our Amah, our foundation, our Abba. So when we talk flat drop, don't get it twisted. We're talking about the creation of our Amah Abba. Because don't think none of this was created without your mama. You better keep reading Proverbs, man. Proverbs 8. Start right there. She's the first of his creations, man. She's the first. So whatever's popping off after, she's the first. Mama had to be one with Abba first before any of this could happen, right? So you better extol her, as it says in Proverbs chapter 4. Extol her. What does it mean to extol? It means to praise. So yeah, allow HaWah, our breath and security, my God. Frame of shaper. HaWah. Let's get it. We are in a great book. Again, Ahab to Aquatai battle. Now, this is a great book, man, because, this book was written kind of like a rebuttal, you know what I mean, to John Hopkins University. It was put right on their head bone to challenge all their scientists about this Earth situation, about the orientation. So, shout out to William Carpenter, man. You know what I mean? 100 Proofs That the Earth is Not a Globe by William Carpenter. Yeah, 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 my noggin. He popped off from this. He popped off. And we've been belly flopping in and out, in and out. But along with Worlds Beyond the Poles, it's become one of my favorite, resources to, sharpen up on the orientation. It's a lot of great work out there. By now, you can find it if you're looking for it. And the recon and the proofs, I mean, these are Nagas that are really scientists. They're after repeatable and observable science. They're not after what the high school teachers say. Naga, they're after repeatable and observable science. The Earth being a ball is not repeatable and observable at all. They don't even put a telescope on a satellite or some type of camera to show you the Earth spinning as a ball. You never see the Earth spinning, never. You never get to see that. You got to believe in it. You got to believe in science. They don't put no camera on none of these satellites or none of these projectiles, but they trying to get to Pluto. Man, come on, man. Oh, they got a new galaxy, but they can't show you what the Earth look like by now. It's just too big. Oh yeah, it is too big. See, the size of the Earth will make the sun look like a speck, like a little speck, because the Earth continues. There's many suns, there's many moons, there's many more lands. It keeps going, just goes straight, 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 straight. You're talking about what some would call an infinite plane, and within that plane, there's planes within the plane. Now you're talking hollow Earth theory, but it's not a hollow ball. It's just planes within the plane. Now you're talking realms, my nigga. Realms of existence. You're in a realm. All right, let's go, man. 100 proofs that the Earth is not a globe. And we get an orientation. You know, sometimes it just requires a little patience to see what HaWah reveals within yourself. You surfing the wave, then surf the wave you've been surfing. It shouldn't be that difficult to see the order of things. If we're talking, you know, something being constant, a constant, repeatable, and observable fact. You see order, you see flow. We drop drops. We tell you all the time, we have an order, we have a flow. Especially when it comes to the content. All praise to HaWah. We have an Excalibur sword. We drop the flat drop, we get your orientation. That's one. We drop the 432 flow, the frequency. We'll be getting right back in that. Get the series frequency of the creator. You know what I mean? And just keep surfing the wave on the flow and the 9 code and, the vibration of things. So we speak vibration in 432 frequency specifically. 4 plus 3 plus 2 is 9. The 9 flow, the spiral up. We speak that while speaking the orientation, while speaking the indigenous truth. Now we're talking about who is Prester John, Coronado, Cities of Gold, right? All the, HaWah, the Kumse flow, Dragon Canoe, Chickamauga, right? So now you get your orientation. You know the map is flipped upside down. You know you're in the, east, not the west. You know everything's, upside down on the map. Managa, you get your orientation with the vibration, the 432, with the indigenous truth. And all that you get within the code. The code, we always keep it in the Tanakh and the flow and the code, keep the code, right? So with the code and the frequency and the orientation and the indigenous truth, that is our formula to wake a Naga up, or to make a Naga aware of the 360 dragonfly perspective. That is order. That is structure. If you came this far, it's because you're in a order, in a structure, in a flow, in a vibration. And if you need more order or structure than that, then you need to go within yourself, because you free, my Naga. You free to code up. You free to, you know, get in line, get in order, find out where you're needed, apply yourself. You don't need somebody else to apply you. You need to apply yourself. You see the vision, then, apply yourself to the vision. Don't try to change the vision. Don't try to question the vision and start poking holes at the vision. You see the vision, it's clear. Whatever, your flow is, you know, just be consistent as a Khan. We need consistent Khans. And to be a consistent Khan means you're consistently in code, consistently a code keeper. Hey, to our 500 code keepers, man, making sure we hitting the mark every single time. My Naga for JoiWorld. This is our beginning. This is our start. We gotta hit the mark, and we hitting it hard, my Naga. You see us working. You see us working. You want order, you want flow, you want structure. Just pay attention. Things are getting done. It doesn't get done without order, without vision, without structure. It's the wave you're swimming in. It's the wave you're surfing. The order is clear. Where will you be? That was, that's the $64 million question. Where will you be? In the order, in the flow, and in the structure of HaWah. Because HaWah is our only leader. HaWah leads all of us and puts us in the right place at the right time in the right flow. You don't need no one else to lead you. HaWah is leading all of us. But HaWah is leading us in an order and a flow. So where's your place in it? Well, that's how you apply yourself and how you find yourself. So be patient with yourself and continue to be a Khan consistently and surf the wave. We in flat drop, one-on-one. Hey, hi to my 500 code keepers, man. Daryl Porter just dropped some drop. My anonymous family just dropped some drop. Gregory Coleman just dropped some drop. Tracy Slocum just dropped some drop. Ozaline Perry, my anonymous family, all my anonymous Nagas, man. Ahab to all the contributions, you know what I mean, and all the recent flow, and just, knowing that we got to keep the water flowing. We got a long way to go. So, hey, we jumped off the porch, my Naga. We over here, hands in the ground, you know what I'm saying, hands in the soil, and, building a vision that, might benefit, you one day, but it's definitely going to benefit more than a handful of families, and we'll keep it going, you know what I mean? If we can, flow with a handful of families at a time, then I know that we're going to hit our mark, It's not something that is an outrageous goal, you know what I'm saying? We're not saying, oh, thousands of families, come right here. But we've been crystallizing with a few families, and we're building this for the few, so far, and you might be in the next, flow, what I'm saying, that we build. So, but you're always invited here, my Naga. So this is the beginning, and that's the vision. It comes with order. It comes with structure. We got the KTC, and We need consistency. We didn't get here without being consistent. We might not be able to, be consistent at every single thing, but we gotta at least, be consistent at something, right? And whatever you're consistent in, that's consistent with, that's what you're building. You know what I'm saying? And whatever we're building, that's what we're being consistent with. So, we all got work to do. I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot more consistency to be had as I build, over here, continue to build for 432. But I'm doing it with you, and that's the beautiful thing. So ThaWaDa, my Nagas, for helping us build our fence for JoiWorld, man. Popping off with the cons. MHOE, Halal, HaWah for JoiWorld. Hey, how peculiar joy. Let go. Hey, keep the water flowing for the cons. Let's jump right into, okay, 100 proofs that the earth is not a globe. I'm belly flopping, let's go to, I'm a belly flop, forget it. I'm a belly flop. I'm gonna start at number 8. Let's go. If the earth were a globe, a small model globe would be the very best because the truest thing for the navigator to take to sea with it. But I had to pause on that one, man. It took me a minute, but hey, that's a body bag. We belly flopped into a body bag for the illusion. If the earth were a globe, a small globe would be the very best thing for the navigator to take to sea with them. Because the truest, it'll be the truest. Like, why wouldn't a navigator have little balls? If the earth was a ball, why are they carrying flat maps, man? They should be carrying balls to sea, right? That's the truest form of the orientation, they say. That's what they sell us on, the globe, right? Why don't they have little balls with them when they go out to sea, man? With such a toy as a guide, the mariner would wreck his ship of a certainty. This is a proof that the earth is not a globe. Hey, that's a fact right there. Number 9, as mariners take to sea with them charts constructed as though the sea were a level surface. However, these charts may err as to the true form of this level surface taken as a whole. It is clear as they find them answers their purpose tolerably well, and only tolerably well, for many ships are wrecked owing to the error of which we speak, that the surface of the sea is as it is taken to be, whether the captain of the ship supposes the earth to be a globe or anything else. Thus, we draw from the common system of plain sailing a practical proof that the earth is not a globe. Back to number 8, you know, they take this flat level surface map with them, what I'm saying, for a reason. And, they call it plain sailing. So you're selling on the plane, plane, a practical proof that the earth is not a globe. Now I'm a belly flop to number, what I want to do right here, 17. Human beings require a surface on which to live that in its general character shall be level. And since the omniscient creator must have been perfectly acquainted with the requirements of his creatures, it follows that being an all-wise creator, he has met them thoroughly. This is a theological proof that the earth is not a globe. Man, again, human beings require a surface on which to live that in its general character shall be level. Why would you create an environment, right, for human beings, or, for man, they say, right? And women, mankind, what I'm saying, for people, right? And specifically for a tribe of people. to be the head and not the tail. And you're telling me you put them on a spinning ball and toss them in a vacuum of space with other spinning balls and random stuff flying through that might crash into them at any moment? On a wobble, my naga? On a wobble? You feel like you're going 67,000 miles per hour right now? Do you think you're going 67,000 miles per hour right this minute? Just meditate on that. You're moving at 67,000 miles per hour right now. And this thing called gravity is why you don't feel it. But they can never prove gravity, which is why it's a theory and not a law. They can't prove gravity. Einstein couldn't prove any motion of the earth. Staring at a, out of ocean view, and you see the water and the boat looks like it's going down because the boat's so far from you on the beach shore. You get a high powered telescope and you are right there back on that boat because that boat did not drop off anywhere. There is no curvature in the water whatsoever. Have you ever seen water curve into a ball? Have you ever seen water curve into a ball? I ain't talking no bubble. I'm talking something with mass and gravity, spinning and hurled at a 67,000 miles per hour. Like NASA say, we are spinning and being hurled around or spinning at almost 1,100 miles per hour, going at 67,000 miles per hour. Come on, man. This shit is over with, man. This stuff is over with. You can never prove it or disprove it, right? You got to trust gravity. This is what I'm talking about when I say repeatable and observable science. They got no repeatable and observable science of any water ball in a vacuum with the water stuck on it, but the people are jumping around like LeBron James slamming from the free throw line because this gravity's not crushing him to the ground, but it's still crushing the water enough so that the water's not spinning off as you spin at 1,100 miles per hour, going at 67,000 miles per hour on a wobble, my naga, on a wobble. But the birds are just flying around freely. They're not being crushed by gravity because they're birds. But it's strong enough to crush trillions of tons of water. But you don't feel that force crushing you, right? You just know that if you jump, you're gonna land. And you're not factoring in basic physics and density and none of that, right? All that is just pseudoscience, right? Physics is just pseudoscience. Physics has density. Hijack city science has gravity. You know what I'm saying? They push off natural science like physics, replace it with the new god, gravity science, and forget about physics. Forget density. If density can explain why I can drop a cup as it is denser than the atmosphere, got a whole formula for it and everything, that's not in the gravity equation. Oh, what gravity needs density is last time that I checked, right? For them to write a gravity equation, they need density, right? They have to factor in the mass. They have to hijack something, real and natural to formulate some theory that will always be a theory and not a law. So if there's no law of science called gravity, only theory, why are you teaching it to our children like it's a fact? It's a theory. We have theories. I have a theory. We're not on no damn spinning ball, man. We're not traveling at 67,000 miles per hour. And everything that is in motion, making a circuit around us, at least in our perspective. I mean, we know the waters are moving. We know the ether's moving, but your landmass is not moving, and you are not physically being pushed around. Which leads us to number 18. 100 Proofs the Earth is Not a Globe by William Carpenter, dropped on the headbone of Johns Hopkins University. And this was literally just to debate them, just to, you know what I'm saying, spark it off. So, I like reading this because he's clearly in battle time, based on the way he's talking. He's coming at some neck bones, you know what I'm saying? He's talking about common sense and omni- omniscient, omniscient creator. He's using big words around here to describe big things. He's talking about theological proof, common sense proof. Let's go. Number 18, the best possessions of man are his senses. Man, didn't we just say that? And when he uses them all, he will not be deceived in his survey of nature. Just use your senses. Does it feel like you are flying at 67,000 miles per hour? Do you perceive any type of movement with your senses? Do you think you're spinning at 1,100 miles per hour right now? Right now. And are you saying that HaWah gave you senses that you cannot use to shape out and frame out your environment? He made you dumb, deaf, and blind for the rest of your life, and your senses are useless, and you'll never even know your environment. You'll never know your orientation. You don't have common senses. HaWah didn't give us this, but HaWah loves us, but we have no senses. So they can tell us anything. You think HaWah designed this place so that they can tell us anything, my naga? Or did he make it obvious? Is it obvious and they're trying to make you not believe in the obvious? Like dragons, that's very obvious. Dragons are everywhere in every culture. That's obvious, but let's make it a myth because that's too heavy. It's too painful to think about that reality, right? Well, it's too painful to think about what happens when the gig is up. And what's the reality for all these, institutions pushing this globe, Copernican in the schools, billions of dollar programs, SpaceX's and all this, NASA's and all this hijack. What's gonna happen then, my nugget? That's just like them seeing the dragon. The world gonna really go crazy. Because then they have to really recognize that they have an omniscient creator, all wise creator. Now you see you have a structure and an order. Our structure starts with keeping the code. That's a structure. It seems so simple now. But Managa, 5 years ago, no one was saying keep the code. No one was telling you over and over and over again to keep the code. Now you got a whole tribe yelling, keep the code. That's order. That's structure. That does something to you. That reminds you of your best self at the best possible time for you to choose up. You got a Naga, you know what I'm saying, that it's in code. You got a Naga that supports that. You know what I mean? You got a real one. You got a real Naga. He's not covetous. He doesn't want what's yours. That's a real Naga. Then we can build. You know what I'm saying? Halal HaWah. He has met them thoroughly. HaWah has met us thoroughly. So we're not going to be put on no surface or have some orientation that's not for us. HaWah created the earth, right? Did all these things, put the fish, put the this, put the that, everything's here, everything's popping off. He did that just for you. Just like you would prepare your house for a great guest, this house was prepared for you. You think HaWah spun this ball around and said, yeah, I'm just going to throw him in right here. Ugh. Now you're in a vacuum of space, spinning around on a water ball. And then you got some sun thing that's giving off some light, some type of fire, some type of spark offness in a vacuum of space. Again, my naga, where's the science, man? Where's the experimentation? Where's the repeatable and observable science? Have you ever seen a fire in a vacuum, man? You know what a vacuum is, man? No atmosphere, man. You don't get no fire in a vacuum. They got rockets popping off. What rockets work in a vacuum, my nugget? Come on, man. They ain't been back to the moon since 70 somethings, whatever, man. Or they never been. And I guess that's why they never been back. I mean, it's obvious. It's common sense. Stanley Kubrick, come on, man. Common sense. Let's go, man. We're just using our senses, right? The best possessions of a man are his senses. And when he uses them all, he will not be deceived in his survey of nature. It is only when some one faculty or other is neglected or abused that he is deluded. Every man in full command of his senses knows that a level surface is a flat or horizontal one. But astronomers tell us that the true level is the curved surface of a globe. They know that man requires a level surface on which to live, so they give him one in name, which is not one in fact. Since this is the best that astronomers with their theoretical science can do for their fellow creatures, deceive them, it is clear that things are not as they say they are, and in short, it is proof that the earth is not a globe. Told y'all, man, William Carpenter is on the head bone, on the neck bone of Johns Hopkins University and their scientists, man. He ain't on a play. This is battle time, man. This is why HaWah Battle dropped this in the ether. Number 19. Every man in his senses goes the most reasonable way to work to do a thing. All right. Every man in his senses, we're still talking senses and common sense. I'm going to keep it right here and have a common sense conversation with the cons. Every man in his senses goes the most reasonable way to work to do a thing. So you got the most reasonable way to work to do a thing. So if it's something you got to do, you're going to do it the most reasonable way. That's just every man in his senses. Obviously, we know everybody's not so reasonable. Some people go the long way for no reason. You know what I'm saying? But most Nagas in their senses, right? In their senses will go the most reasonable way to work to do a thing. Now, astronomers, one after another, following a leader, while they are telling us that Earth is a globe, are cutting off the upper half of its superstitious globe in their books, and in this way forming the level surface on which they describe man as living and moving. Now, if the Earth were really a globe, this would be the most unreasonable and suicidal mode of endeavoring to show it, so that unless theoretical astronomers are all out of their senses together, it is clearly a proof that the earth is not a globe. And just, you know, see this clearly. I'm going to repeat it and just really visualize what William Carpenter is saying about the senses. If astronomers, while they are telling us that earth is a globe, are cutting off the upper half of this globe in their books, and in this way forming the level surface on which they describe man as living and moving. So, whenever they talk about living on earth, they like to just slice it and say, here's people living, but they never just, put them on their ball and all their grand curvature. Now, if the earth were really a globe, this would be just the most unreasonable and suicidal mode of endeavoring to show it. So that unless theoretical astronomers are all out of their senses together, it is clearly a proof that the earth is not a globe. We can get a few more, we're going to pop off, and the world's beyond a pole. Let's go. The common sense of man tells him, if nothing else told him, that there is an up and a down in nature, even as regards the heavens and the earth. But the theory of modern astronomers necessitates the conclusion that there is not. Therefore, the theory of the astronomers is opposed to common sense, yes, and to inspiration. And this is a common sense proof. I told you he's kicking off common sense proof. Y'all thought I was on some play, man. Hey, man, this is a common sense proof. All right. We get a little more common sense, and then we're going to jump into, some more of this deep water here. So common sense of a man tells him that there's an up and a down, right? That's just common sense. There's an up, there's a down. If you're on a ball, which way is up, which way is down? All right, let me help you out. Take a piece of paper, even if it's in a two-dimensional flow, right? But you're on a flat plane, just forget it. Just draw a circle as if it's a ball. That circle's your ball. Now, draw a little person on the left part of the circle, on the right, a little person on the bottom, and on the top. You know what I'm saying? You ask that person to the bottom, which way is up, they're going to point up, further down, right? You know what I'm saying? To the left's going to point left, right's going to point. You feel me? And you can't tell that person that they're not right, because to them, it's all perspective. The earth, everything's perspective, according to the ball flow. On the plane, my nugget, obviously you have the same up and you got the same down. And you got the same, the same orientation. Even in the script when it's talking about, seeing HaWah and how everyone will be witnesses. Everyone can't be witnesses if you're on a ball, because you got different ups. Which way is HaWah coming down on your side? The whole earth, you know what I'm saying? Is it wrapping himself around the ball? Or are you just talking about being able to look up at the same sky? We see the same constellations no matter where you at. You still ain't seen no new constellations, my night. All this time, hundreds of years, you got maps, star maps going back supposedly thousands, and it's the same constellation. But you are traveling at 67,000 miles per hour. That's what they want us to believe. But you still see the same constellations you saw in grade school, right? But you're traveling at 67,000. So come on, man. At some point, either the space stuff is much smaller than the same, or, this is a chandelier. This is something that is consistent. We're talking about, wandering stars and fixed stars. Then when Worlds Beyond the Poles, he's taking the stars into a whole nother flow as being, these gaseous sky areas that are connected. Just more land, more water, more vegetation. So I like going from pretty much your standard, get off the ball type of, proof theory type of flow. And it's also great to bring that in, even beyond, when we go to the worlds beyond the pole. So again, he says in number 20, the common sense of man tells him, if nothing else told him, that there is an up and a down in nature, even as regards the heavens and the earth. But the theory of modern astronomers necessitates the conclusion that there is not. Therefore, the theory of the astronomers is opposed to common sense, and to inspiration. And this is a common sense proof that the earth is not a globe. 21, man's experience tells him that he is not constructed like the flies that can live and move upon the ceiling of a room with as much safety as on the floor. And since the modern theory of planetary Earth necessitates a crowd of theories to keep company with it, and one of them is that men are really bound to the Earth by force, which fastens them to it, quote, like needles round a spherical lodestone. A theory perfectly outrageous and opposed to all human experience. It follows that unless we can trample upon common sense and ignore the teachings of experience, we have an evident proof that the earth is not a globe. And, we'll get this one right here, number 22. HaWah's truth never requires a falsehood to help it along. Bang. Mr. Proctor. Oh, now he's calling out names. I told you, man. He's going for the neck bones of Hijack City at Johns Hopkins University. Mr. Proctor, in his lessons, says men have been able to go round and round the earth in several directions. Now, in this case, the word several will imply more than two, unquestionably, whereas it is utterly impossible to circumnavigate the earth in any other than an easterly or westerly direction. And the fact is perfectly consistent and clear in its relation to earth as a plane. Now, since astronomers would not be so foolish as to damage a good cause by misrepresentation, it is a presumptive evidence that that their cause is a bad one, and proof that Earth is not a globe. Wow. So he says, Mr. Proctor, in his quote lessons, says men have been able to go round and round the Earth in several directions. Come on, man. That's another falsehood. Ain't no one ever went completely, north, traveled across the Arctic to the pop out on the other side of the ball. They don't even talk about it. No one's ever come across the bottom and crossed across all of Antarctica and popped out on the other side of the ball. Come on, man. All they're doing is going in circles around landmasses, calling it circumnavigating. If you put your phone down and draw a circle around your phone, you just circumnavigated your phone. So when they talk about circumnavigation, they're talking about going around a group of landmasses in a circle on a flat plane of water. And we're thinking they're going around some ball curvature, but they can't prove no curvature. They're we talk about these bridges, man. These civil or these engineers, building these bridges don't account for no curvature when they're building these long 100-mile bridges or these railroads going from 3,000 miles like to California to New York City. You think they accounted for the vast amount of curvature that would have to be put into the railroad engineering, man? No, they just have a flat track and they lay it across for 3,000 miles, my noggin, and it's still flat. Them Aztecs building the railroad, they say Chinese built the rail. You think they were accounting for curvature, man? What's the formula? Like every mile should be what, 6 inches or 8 inches of curvature. So that's hundreds of miles of curvature by the time you go 3,000 miles straight from LA to New York City. I mean, go from a boat from here to Hawaii, you still got miles of curvature in the water. You think you're going over this mound of curvature on the water? Come on, man. Come on. All water ever does is flatten out. You never see water do nothing but flat out on any surface. It flattens itself out. You don't see it go into a ball unless you're in a zero gravity situation with a bubble and whatever zero gravity situation they want to get. Come on, man. That's the best they can do. But you put people on it and mass on it and things swimming inside of it, and you telling me it's spinning around and nothing's flying out because of some crushing force called gravity, but you don't feel crushed at all because that's just magic. Come on, man. You want me to believe in your science because that's a religion. It's all about belief. No reputable, no observable science. These bridges don't account for no curvature. These railroads didn't account for no curvature. They went straight. And all you got to do is keep going straight to the world's beyond a pole. So let's go, man. We popping off. World's beyond a pole. Let's belly flop. Let's get a few in this chapter here. F. Amadeo Giannini pops it off. And, I got to get this poem again, man. This is a beautiful poem. You know what I'm saying? It's called Only Dreams Are True. Here we go right here. Only dreams are true. Listen up, my nigga. This is drop poetry hour, man. Love to the HaWah. Type heads up. Only dreams are true. The tangible and real on which our lives are based was yesterday's ideal, a rosy picture traced. Listen up, my noggin, to every word in this poem. Because it is all the drop you need to see clearly all facts, exactly what's popping off. And he's telling it right to your face, bro. Only dreams are true. You got a dream? The tangible and real, of which our lives are based, was yesterday's ideal, a rosy picture traced. Heavy, heavyweight, man. So everything you think is tangible and real, everything your life is based on, was yesterday's idea. It was a rosy picture that was traced for you to think it's tangible and real. Hijack City, you're in the Matrix. Someone designed this Matrix. It was somebody's idea yesterday. It was a rosy picture traced, and you're playing follow the leader, follow the hijack, in the mind of a hijack. The tangible and real, of which our lives are based, was yesterday's ideal, a rosy picture traced by some quaint visionary, impractical, half-cracked, painting his fancies airy, and now it's a solid fact. Oh, whatever we hold stable, dependable, and sane was once a hopeful fable. Everything you think is stable, the earth spinning on a ball, this ball. Everything you think is stable, dependable, sane, NASA, the government. Hey, line up, get this tenderoni, go ahead, man. Get hit up as many times as you want. Because you think it's dependable. You think it is sane. We're the Chickamauga. We know these people are insane. Whatever we hold stable, dependable, and sane, man, was once a hopeful fable of castles built in Spain. It's a more and more war, y'all. It's a more and more war, y'all. This whole world started out as a fable of castles built in Spain. Damn, damn, damn. Yeah, these damn dams too. Yeah. Before the fact, the fancy. Before the deed, the dream. That builds by necromancy. The hard material scheme. What is necromancy? What is a necromancer? Necromancy is the practice of magic or black magic. Why do they call us black? What is high? What is higher? What is higher learning, man? It's real talk, man. We gotta have some higher learning now. Because you're just talking sorcery or what they call black magic. So what is white magic? What is primal magic? Yeah, it's your natural frequency. It's your drakan that's flowing within you. It's the elements, the fire, the water, the ether, the earth that's in you. That's primal. That's the real magi. They're using black magic. What is black in 1828? Let's go back to 1828. And then, man, we're gonna belly flop like we never belly flopped before. And the world's beyond a pole. A-hop to the dragons on the wall, keeping the water flowing at 432 to drop radio, because they feel that order and they feel that structure and they feel that vibration. Because law is vibration and vibration is law. Halal. Black, color of night, destitute of light. All right. right, so their black magic is destitute of light. Got it. Black clouds, darkened. Hey, what is dark? That's go dig on it. Sullen, having a cloudy look or countenance. That's what is sullen. Oh, this is darkness, right? Heavy frequency, right? Atrociously wicked. Not just wicked, my noggin. Horrible. This is clear cut, their language, their frequency. This is English, right? I'm just looking it up. When they say black magic, why would they call it this? Because they are doing something atrociously wicked and horrible with your energy, frequency, and vibration. I mean, they call it silent weapons, quiet wars, and sometimes it's more and more, and sometimes it's right at your front door. War, what are we good for? Everything, my noggin. Because all they bringing us is some atrociously wicked stuff, horrible stuff as a black deed or what? Black magic, dismal, mournful, calamitous. This is what they're bringing on us. Something calamitous. Naga, this is necromancy. Calamitous is very miserable, involved in deep distress, oppressed. To be oppressed is in a calamitous state, but you call yourselves black. I don't get that. How are you black, man? Because they told you that, man? You gotta wakey. You gotta be aware. You're in another mind. Get out of their mind. If you want to talk about a color, hey, you see that? You know that grandma's penny, that deep copper that most Nagas are, ranging from that deep copper to, the lighter tan copper, but it's copper, my Naga. Like, you're in the frequency. The copper is the red man. The copper is the red man. Not black man. Not wicked. Not horrible. And not calamitous. Because calamitous is very miserable. Deep distress and oppressed. That's why they got you black, man. Isn't it clear? You still choose this calamitous, distress, and oppressed? You still choose to be black? Meaning you telling you the copper colored con, see how they frequency switch up though. Because the copper colored con rule the entire earth plane. Because that's Nagaville. My Naga, you want order, you want structure. In Nagaville, will be a witness and just hope you are worthy of having a flow, having a position, having a wave to surf. That's a humbling thing. That's a yapa feeling to be a part of the wave. You in the wave, you KTC, MHOE. Then you'll be in that water, you'll be in that mem sauce. And you won't be oppressed, distressed, and very miserable, wretched, misfortunate, applied to men. Wow, which men? Uh, Black men, right? Got it. Darkies, right? You're dark. I'm dark skinned. You light skinned. I'm dark skinned. Dark means you have no light. You are destitute of light. What does it mean to be destitute in 1828? Not having or possessing. You don't have any light when you're dark, my noggin. Stop calling yourself these words. Get out the spell. We're here to bring the awareness and, be witnesses so that we can break the spell. Because just like the double slit experiment, just like the, observation by observing, What the particle knew is being observed. Electron, proton knows when it's being observed. Then it collapsed the wave pattern to choose one possibility instead of it popping off completely and everything happening, right? When you're not observing the spell, when they cast a spell on you, that's still a frequency. It's still something. You have to observe it to collapse its wave pattern so you can put it in its place. You can make a new mark for it. You can put it in a particular place. You can collapse the wave pattern and put it away. You can put it in true hell, put it in true Sheol where it belongs. But if you don't observe the spell, you just participate in it, then you're dark, right? It's all happening. It's just popping off. You're gloomy. You're disheartened, having unfavorable prospects. Who's this, man, as a people? As a people. You know which people we're talking about. The copper color found here. The American. What's the definition? I was good. I had to get there. What's the definition of an American? Con. The C is the K, is the C, is the K. The con is the con. A native of America originally applied to the Aboriginals, the originals, or copper color races found here, right? Then applied to the hijack born here. But first they had to find us here. Who? Copper color races, not black races, not black people, but copper color tribes that are original as natives. The Americas, the American is a copper color by nature, because native is nature, right? All right, so are you black? Are you in a necromancy? Are you in an enchantment? Right? Practice of communicating with the dead, right? We're about to pull up on All Souls Day, All Hallows Eve, right? Day of the Dead, all this stuff popping off again, right? Necromancy. This is not HaWah's way. Don't participate in this stuff because it's black magic, even in your funny costumes. You could wear a costume 364 other days of the entire year. You don't want to do that because you'll look crazy. But on this day, it's accepted for you to look crazy or whatever you want to be. So you buy into it and you have to, dress up on this day, right? It is a curse. It is a sorcery. You're participating in a ritual. It is necromancy. So let's get a piece more of this poem. Before the fact, the fancy. Before the deed, the dream. That builds by necromancy. The hard material scheme. So all your towers that shimmer, your lamps that light the sky, were once a tiny glimmer within some seer's eye. Time makes our empires scatter. Let's go. But we shall build anew. Let's go. For only visions matter and only dreams are true. And this by Burton Braley. And the question is, whose vision is it anyway? Whose dream are you in? Some people have a dream for your demise. You know what they call them? They call them necromancers, right? They call them sorcerers, participating in a black type of magic, in a necromancy, in an enchantment. And this black enchantment, since you know what black is and what black means, this black enchantment is an atrociously wicked, horrible, dismal, mournful, and calamitous enchantment. You remember calamitous is very, very miserable. So this necromancy, this black magic, is a miserable, calamitous frequency. And this is why we've been in a state of deep distress. This is why we've been in a state of oppression, infelicity, stretched or wretched from misfortune. Applied to who? Black men, right? Not just anybody, because some people been in fortune. Some people ain't got no misfortune. You know, they got the old flow. They all good. Not everybody's oppressed. Not everybody's in a deep distress. But now they're feeling their own version of it, you know what I'm saying? And they want to take us into this very miserable, calamitous frequency because misery loves company. So when they fall for the okie doke, they want everybody to fall for the okie doke. When they jump off the porch, man, they want everybody to jump off the porch, producing distress and misery. This is the definition of how they are putting it on everybody right now. But they've been putting it on our people for a very long time. And the minute that the whole world is feeling it, we're supposed to be extra feeling it with you. Nah, man. Hell nah, man. We don't feel your distress. We don't feel your misery. We know that things are happening that are wretched and are misfortunate, but we're not going to focus and meditate on that. We're going to focus on getting to our checkpoint, on building our fence for JoiWorld. We're going to focus on keeping the code every single day and every single way. And you do you. And we're going to continue to do us. And we'll know each other by our fruits, huh? We'll know each other by the fruit we bear. At the end of the day, you're going to say, what fruit did Drop Nation bear? And could we have got there without order and without structure that's been popping off fresh off the balcony? Halal, HaWah. All praise HaWah. Because that's all I can say for my testimony is all praise HaWah. If that's confusing to you, this order and this structure and this vibration ain't for you. You need to join the military. So you need something else where someone is constantly giving you order, constantly giving you structure, instead of you finding it by spiraling up in the code, in the frequency, and finding it for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to walk through the door by yourself. And can't no one keep pulling you through the door. Where's your structure? Because your structure will be reflected within our structure. Where's your order? Because your order will automatically be reflected within our order, within our wave, my knock. Hey, shout out to my 500 code-keeping families. Because with our order, with our structure, we can build anything. We're doing it right before your eyes. Sometimes you might just have to, sit on the sideline and be a witness, man. Because sometimes you just need to be a witness. Sometimes you just need a demo. I get it. Fall back. Be a witness of order and structure and the wave you've been surfing. All praise HaWah. Because HaWah is a very strong archer, man. HaWah shoots an arrow. HaWah is a strong archer. It hits its target with strength. It goes straight. It doesn't waver. That's why we say steady water. It don't mean that we perfect, but it means that we keep the water flowing. And we got repeatable and observable science and proof and nothing but receipts to back that up. Order over chaos, man. Order over calamity. Some niggas just got a calamitous frequency. They're just very miserable inside, so they find any way to find, some lack of whatever they're lacking, to find a reason to be miserable, a reason to just not be good today. How you doing? Oh man, man. Man. You don't find the good in things. You ain't finding, what I'm saying, the zon up. You ain't finding that spark. That's you. That's not on the next conversation. Can't nobody find that for you. Can't nobody push your ass through the door right now. You got to get your butt up and walk through that door. And you got to do it again tomorrow and do it again the next day. And as many days as you got to walk through that door, you walk through that door, my nigga. You walk through that door, my nigga. That's what we're practicing right now. We ourselves walking through our door so that we can have a meeting place, so that we can come together and attend a meeting. But it has to be repeatable and observable signs that you can walk through the door. If you're talking about tribing up, or else you're just bringing calamity to the tribe, misery to the tribe, oppression to the tribe. You see it, man. We ain't black. Nah, we ain't black. Nah, man. We the copper color tribes. We the copper conduit, man. Look up copper, man. We the copper, right? We ain't black. We copper, right? Oh man, whew. Whoa. It is found native in lamens or fibers. Oh, I'm just popping off, man. I mean, whoa. I don't think I put copper in here before, so this is beautiful. This is beautiful. It's supposed to be so-called from Cyprus. They want to bring it into their Olympian Greek hijack. Well, okay. Brass of Cyprus. In this case, copper was originally an adjective, a metal of a pale red color. I'm out of here, man. What did we just say? The red man is the copper man. The copper man is the red man, right? So when they talk copper color races, they're talking the red man too. So don't come and say, oh, well, I fall into the pinkish red category. Nah, you ain't the copper category. The copper is the red. Of a pale red color tinged with yellow next to gold, silver, and platina. It is the most ductile and malleable of the metals and is more elastic than any metal. So copper know how to surf the wave. Copper know how to flex, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, except steel. And the most sonorous of all metals. It is found native in lamens or fibers in the ganj, almost always quartzes. So copper is always quartzes. Copper is always crystallizing and is found native in fibers. It is also found crystallized. Manaka, you the copper color kind. You ain't black. You talking frequency and crystallization when you talk copper. Black, you're talking atrociously wicked, calamitous, dismal, everything horrible. Over here in the copper world, man, you talking crystallization. They love to natural by law. We've been crystallizing us with them GEM bottles, man, and just hit up naturalbylaw.net. And hit up Mountain Berry Wraps, man. CJ Battle Crystal, James, Jewelry, all that on IG. Go get it, man. Crystallize and in grains or superficial lamins or fibers on stones or iron. Yeah. Every time I see fibers, I be thinking about fringes, and when you look at the definition of a fringe, you really get fiber, and just makes you think about fringes in a deeper way, kind of like Avatar, where, their locks, were able to connect with nature and all that, right? So, it wasn't originally supposed to be just a piece of cloth, you know what I mean? And, yeah, we got the colors, the blue, the red, the blue, the white. At the same time, what is a fringe? Is it representing something else, that originally it was? Are we simply talking fibers, crystallized fibers? or grains, superficial layman's. Let's get it. Copper in sheets is much used for covering the bottom of ships, boilers. I mean, copper's popping off. That's just if you're talking about copper, in 1828. We learn a lot. We learning a lot, but what we ain't gonna do is call ourselves other than American. The Khan. We are the Khan. We are the copper colored tribes that were found here. So you can't tell us who we are. This, all this goes with the indigenous truth. I told you the formula, I told you the order, and I told you the structure you've been swimming in, and that's what got you here. Halal, HaWah. All you gotta do is witness, man. Don't go against the wave. Black is what we're not gonna do. Atrociously wicked, calamitous, horrible is what we're not gonna call ourselves. But we know this all has to do with a little thing called necromancy. Got it. Yeah. Time makes our empire scatter, my nugget. Just like they're playing with the timelines, pushing our empire, scattering them in the timelines. But we shall build anew, for only visions matter. Well, who's going to be the visionary now? Who's going to be observing now? Will you observe the code? Will you have a vision in code to collapse the wave pattern on paradise, on a beautiful checkpoint, popping off in the wave, popping off in the ether? For only visions matter. Only dreams are true. By Burton Brain. Con. So let's get this piece right here. We belly flopping for the dismount. Flat drop 101. Yeah, I love belly flopping. And the source like this, you gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Because you're gonna find, something even clearer than you have read it before. It's gonna pop out. It's gonna be, just a beautiful thing. Okay, I'm right here. Let's see what chapter this is. Chapter 6, A Journey Over Earth's Skylight Road of Illusions. A journey over Earth's skylight road of illusions. And there's a quote that says, the lens is the culprit and the deception is the crime. Let's get a piece of that. Figure 6 is reproduced from the 1930 original, released to the science editors of press syndicates in New York City. It is intended to show lens deceptions experienced in all observations of the Earth's luminous outer sky surface, from stratospheric darkness and from other land areas of the Earth, of the universe. It was also intended to indicate the lens deceptions resulting from telescopic observations of luminous celestial areas. Though the drawing was made prior to any confirming photographs of stratosphere ascension or rocket flights, it may now be viewed as reality because of the V2 rocket photographic confirmation since October 1946. And we're talking about figure 6. And if you get the PDF, just go to page 70 and you can check it out. Make sure I put it back in the drop chat. I'll drop it back in the drop chat at 432thedrop.com, and make sure you get it, man. It's a little sideways the one I'm looking at, but It has something called Only Earth's Blue Sky, 7 to 10 miles seen from Earth's land. And it's basically just kind of showing the levels to it, man. The stratospheric flow. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's only 7 to 10 miles up or 12 miles. Some say. I don't know who's been beyond 12 miles realistically. Not just some type of low Earth orbit situation that SpaceX and NASA be talking about. Oh, we went to space. Some low Earth orbit situation. I'm talking about. I'm saying, really going into that stratosphere, that mesosphere, what I mean, all those other, levels, they still can't get past the quote unquote radiation, right? So they on that play. So Figure 6 is reproduced for the 1930 original, released to the science editors of press syndicates in New York City. Let's get it from here. Now, they said the drawing was made prior to any confirming photographs of stratosphere ascension or rocket flights. It may now be viewed as reality because of the V2 rocket photographic confirmation since October 1946. Number one, the land area as indicated at the bottom of the drawing represents the accustomed location in our observation of the familiar blue sky, New York City and Chicago. In looking up or out from such land positions or from any other land position of the Earth, we observe the blue sky of varying depth or density from time to time and from place to place. Number two, the sharp horizontal curves are never experienced with such sharp angles. The abrupt termination of the horizon is here required to complete the illustration and imposes lines of demarcation between the various land communities. And you can also get this book, Worlds Beyond a Pole, in the Drop Library at 432thedrop.com. And the password is 1234 to get through the door, man. Let's go. So it also permits simultaneous view of inner and outer sky curvature. The outer are to be observed from stratosphere darkness and from other land areas of the universe. And three, the region between represents the 7 to 10 mile distance from land to blue sky. The distance varies over the earth and over the universe whole. Inhabitants of other land areas of the universe can view no other blue sky than their own. They cannot see our immediate blue sky, but they do see our outer sky surface as we see their outer sky surface. Well, let me back this up. This might answer a few questions you might be pondering and digging on. The region between represents the 7 to 10 mile distance from land to blue sky. The distance varies over the earth and over the universe whole. Inhabitants of other land areas, right? People on other planets, which is just more flat land if you keep going straight. Those are the celestial planets. You just got to keep going straight. I know. Just dig on it, man. Follow me now. Hey, rock with Giannini for a minute, okay? They're doing the experimentation in the 20s and 30s, and they're breaking it down, the V2 rockets and all this stratospheric experimentation. They're working with the Navy. They're working with Admiral Byrd. I mean, they got all the connection, man. So this is as legit source primary flow as you could possibly get when it comes to Worlds Beyond the Poles that I've come across with F. Amadeo Giannini. Why not? Let's go. Because they ain't talking about it, then they ain't going against it. Like, there's nothing they can say. It's nothing but receipts. From top to bottom, nothing but receipts. So the inhabitants of other land areas of the universe can view no other blue sky than their own. So you are in what they would call a land area of the universe. You can't see no other blue sky but yours, right? You don't see no other land areas blue sky. You can't see Mars's blue sky, even though Mars is just straight out, straight out. There's no isolated balls, globular balls anywhere. That's what Gene is breaking down throughout the book. There's no balls. Get the balls out your head, ball. There's no spherical objects, my nigga, spinning around you. Those are not spheres. Those are optical illusions from these telescopes and these concave lenses. Let's go. Hey, only visions matter. Only dreams are true. They got you looking through these lenses, man, observing what they want you to see. Let's go. Wakey, wakey. The distance varies over the Earth and over the universe whole. Inhabitants of other land areas of the universe can view no other blue sky than their own. They cannot see our immediate blue sky, but they do see our outer sky surface as we see their outer sky surface. At night, they view our sky's outer surface areas, and every sky area, as here depicted, is luminous and deceptively globular. Huh? At night, they view our outer sky surface areas and every sky area like we do, like when we see the stars, my nigga. These aren't just little balls of gas shining. These are other land areas. Man, you've been to Utah, you've been to Arizona, you look up on that sky at night. You in Colorado, you look up at that sky, you see them stars so clear. The reason why they're fixed is because they're land areas. And you're seeing reflections of them. It's reflections of these lit up sky areas. You can't see their blue sky, but you can see their outer sky area, according to Giannini. They cannot see our immediate blue sky, but they can see our outer sky surface as we see their outer sky surface. At night, they view our sky's outer surface area. And every sky area, as here depicted, is luminous, and deceptively globular through the telescope. Hence, the deceptive globularity imposes the appearance of isolation. That's not space in between, it's just more water. Accordingly, our terrestrial area appears to other inhabitants of the universe as the same isolated stars and planets. So we looking like a constellation over here, they looking like a constellation over there. We can only see their outer sky area. It is deceptively globular and luminous. Right? It is luminous. Let's go. Our terrestrial area appears to other inhabitants of the universe as the same isolated, quote, stars and planets. Man, we look like stars and planets. You think they're telling the people the same lie as this, system is telling us, man? As their areas appear to our observation, we look like stars and planets, just as they look like, just as their areas appear to our observation. Our sky areas make their heavens above, as their sky areas makes our heavens above. Number 4, the dark area of the illustration above the sky areas represents the stratosphere, which extends indefinitely. They ain't going nowhere, boss. As it encroaches upon terrestrial sky areas, it likewise exists over all other sky areas of the universe. Likewise exists over all other sky areas of the universe. We all got the same blue sky. We all got the same stratosphere. We all look up at the same up. No one's on the bottom of your ball. No one's looking down when they should be looking up. HaWah comes and pops off. Everybody look up and see HaWah. Everybody will witness together. You're not going to be on the other side of the ball like, oh man, did you see that? Nah. Oh, well, you had to be in this hemisphere. Nah, man. No spheres. no hemispheres, just a flat plane, my nigga. Infinite plane, infinite stratosphere, infinite water. Number 5, the luminous and disk-like outer sky areas show how the gaseous blue sky of terrestrial land observation becomes luminous against the dark stratosphere. So it's all observation. And when people have the drop on you, they can teach you something is what it ain't, you know what I'm saying? And they can brainwash us and make us take these tests and quizzes all day until we get it right. But the luminous and the disk-like outer sky areas show how the gaseous blue sky of terrestrial land observation becomes luminous against the dark stratosphere. The lens detecting such luminous areas, which we definitely know are not globular and isolated, is compelled by its function to create the curves that produce the luminous disk areas as illustrated. Each disk area must, as previously explained, impose that further illustration or that further illusion of a body. One more time for the disk map, my nut. Each disk area must, as previously explained, impose that further illusion of a body. So the disk-like, not that it is, but it's would appear luminous and disk-like, appears to have a body. It appears to have some type of function of this created curve, right? We definitely know they're not globular and isolated, but it is compelled by its function to create the curves that produce the luminous disk areas. Each disk area must impose that further illusion of a body. The celestial bodies of astronomy are precisely what the illustration describes. Hence, from a distance, we see the illustration's luminous disk-like areas as true disk surfaces. Maybe you think you could land on the moon, right? Or maybe it's plasma. Likewise, do we observe luminous celestial sky surface areas, the so-called stars, quote unquote, so-called planets, quote unquote, of astronomical assumption, and inhabitants of celestial land areas view luminous areas of our sky in precisely the same manner as we observe luminous areas of their sky. In sharing our lens illusion as they must, they manner that we have been, the manner that we have been deprived of physical journey to their land. In sharing our lens illusions as they must, they manner that we have been deprived of physical journey to their land. I mean, we see it clearly. I mean, we've been deprived of any physical journey because we think we're on a spinning ball, a finite ball that doesn't get any bigger. It's 25,000 such and such miles of circumference, right? The circumference is the circumference. They can't make the ball bigger by finding new land. They can't say, oh, we found new continents, because then wouldn't fit on your damn ball. So you're stuck on a finite ball, no more exploration. Instead of finding new lands, they have to say they find new planets. So now there's the NASA and all these space programs, because you don't have any more land exploration. You have space explorers now. But Star Trek is talking about going to lands, going boldly where no man's gone before. But what? They're in the USS Enterprise, dog. Any USS anything is a ship, my nigga. They are on a boat right in your face, bone, acting like they're on a spaceship in outer space, but they're really on a boat called the USS Enterprise. In one of their episodes, they start off in one of their little phantom rooms, and they all got boat captain, captain boat attire. They're all on a boat, but it's called the USS Enterprise, and then they phase out into their reality, and then they get out of that what I'm saying, you know, simulation. You know what I mean? So they're in some simulation, but they're on a boat called the USS Enterprise, boldly going to find Nagas and conquer lands where no man's gone before, my Naga. They're telling you that they're the conquistadors. They're colonizing the Earth plane, but they're saying they're in warp speed going in outer space. But the water is the space, and space is water for the dismount. They have deprived us of our physical journey to all these lands beyond the pole. Look up the Antarctic Treaty, never been broken. You know what else hasn't been broken? The treaties of peace and friendship, man. Oh, that's the longest standing treaty of all time. That would never be broke, right? Because they are confederate against the real Nagi. Against the real Nagi. Since the drawing could have no purpose if the complete disc was shown, it portrays only half disc or a series of luminous arcs. That is all that is really required, inasmuch as that alone is what the most powerful telescopes are about to detect throughout the universe. If the lower blue sky areas of the illustration were obscured, as one held the illustration at arm's length and observed from the top of the page, one would discern that any area shown would appear as a disk from distant observation, as explained earlier. When that deceptive lens-formed disk area is detected, the mind automatically supplies the fullness. Your mind supplies the fullness to that disk to make it a body. They tricked your mind so much that when you see the disk, you see a ball. Damn. The mind is powerful, Managi. Do not underestimate the power of the mind, the power of the necromancy, the black magic. The mind automatically supplies the fullness, which completes the disc and imposes the delusion of a globe body. Body, bad. Every luminous outer sky area of the Earth and the universe about the Earth must, through lens function, and only thereby, be detected as a disc-like area illustratively presented. A disc-like area illustratively presented. And it is then assumed to be a globe, and the illusory globe must appear to be isolated. Managa, this is Flat Drop 101, popping off William Carpenter, 100 proofs on the headbone of Johns Hopkins University. That the earth is not a globe. Now you got F. Amadeo G and Nini telling you the same thing, that there are no globes, that it is assumed to be a globe, and the illusory globe must appear to be isolated, but there is no isolation. No, no. Hey, I just belly flopped here to on page 98. Just jumping in, man. It says ancient observation of the lights detected in the universe about us developed the so-called star charts. That development was an artful expression of the wholesome star, quote unquote, observing pastime. Nobody was deluded through the art of celestial light charting. But when the same art bedecks itself with the judicial garb of science and imposes upon the world illusory conditions acclaimed to be real, there is described neither art or science. During the many centuries of observation, there should have been discernment of the illusions, and the least that might have been achieved was comprehension of the unfailing matter in which all creative energy must move. That movement is a wave. You surfing the wave. And the least that might have been achieved was comprehension of the unfailing manner in which all creative energy must move, and that movement is a wave. But the universally manifested wave motion was replaced by the astronomical fraternity with the barren guess of, quote, circling or eclipsing. No more wave, no more spiral, right? Just circling, eclipsing. And strangely, such replacement was made to sustain theory even as the wave term received empty lip service. No one's surfing the wave no more. With that replacement from the world of illusory, the entire astronomical structure erected upon the, quote, circling or, quote, ellipsing guess becomes purposeless and void. Nowhere throughout the broad domain of research in pure and applied science is there to be experienced the, quote, circling or, quote, ellipsing motion contained in and making the foundation for celestial mechanics. Wherever such motion seems to take place, wherever such motion seems to take place, other than in man-made mechanics at terrestrial level, it is purely illusory. Wherever you think you are moving, that doesn't involve man-made mechanics, my naga, at the terrestrial level, that is an illusion. Hey, only visions matter. Only dreams are true, they say, right? Because they built by necromancy. Who built by necromancy? Who build the tangible and real on which our lives are based, which was yesterday's ideal, a rosy picture trace by some quaint visionary, impractical, half-cracked, painting his fancies, airy. And now it's a solid fact. You're on a globe. You're spinning at 1,100 miles per hour. You're being hurled through emptiness, void, vacuum space at 67,000 miles per hour right now on a wobble. And now it's a solid fact. Wherever we hold stable, whatever we hold stable, dependable and sane was once a hopeful fable of castles built in Spain. Before the fact of fancy, before the deed, the dream that builds by necromancy, the hard material scheme. It's been hardened in a lot of my nagas. It's the material scheme. They can't get out of it. They can't escape the matrix. So all your towers that shimmer, your lamps that light the sky, these stars, right, were once a tiny glimmer within some seer's eye. They said, we will call them stars. We would tell them that they're balls of gaseous little suns. Our sun is just one of many stars, right? Come on. But there are more suns and moons beyond the pole. So they give you these half-cracked truths. You know, infinite outer space becomes the infinite plane. You know what I'm saying? And all these stars are fixed, are more lands beyond the pole. And to go up, you really go straight. Bang. Time makes our empire scatter, but we shall build a new drop nation. For only visions matter and only dreams are true, drop nation. Help us build our fence, because we will build anew. For you, HaWah for JoiWorld. Flat drop, 101, khandrop. All praise our Creator that we can reach these checkpoints and get down with this, get up with this orientation. But I ask you, which way is up on the ball? We're going to get some more, orientation soon, man. And we'll be right back, with some more of that indigenous truth, man. Some more of that Tecumseh flow, HaWah flow, and right into Prester John 71. Like only we can, Drop Nation. Shout out to the Code Keepers. 500 Code Keeping Knockers. We did it again. Shalom. HaWah.